Hello, my name is Gao Min, and I'll be making my proposal about Senior Project 2. And the thing that I'm going to propose is hostel management software. It is named Monotel, and my team is also named Monotel. For this thing, I'll be working alone, so this will be a solo project, and I think the scope is manageable for a computer science for a year student, and I think it's within a well manageable do within a semester. So these are the problems that I'm trying to solve. The main problem is the apartment or hostel owners lack a single real-time system to manage rooms, money, staff, and requests, leading to manual, slow, and error-prone operations. So these problems involve limited financial visibility, fragmented tenant communications, and structured staff coordination and reactive service handling. Since I already have a client, these are these general problems that I don't have to focus because my client has their own unique problems. And my client is a host has a hostel business in Myanmar, and it's named Gansun Hostel. So the location is there, and you can see that it's a three-story building with 5 rooms each. And since there are two buildings, there will be 30 rooms in total. So the first problem, kind of fragmented tenant communication. So, like I said, communications are very scattered through SMS, emails, and calls. So basically, different tenants, different users will have their own messaging app that is very different from one another. So it makes it hard to integrate them or unify them into one whole to make it systematic. So, what how to solve it? There is some solutions for problem one. Folio have a unified in both with bulk test email to residents. And Astrata has a message center, and it has also two-way testing. Dolly also has two-way testing, so you can both receive or send messages with communication history. And then Cloud has an in-app messenger. So this is what we are trying to do. But how our solution is unique? Let me tell you our my unique value proposition. So, since this solution for making a net messenger is not unique, but the unique thing is that this hostel is located in Myanmar, and in Myanmar, a lot of people use the messenger app called Viber, which is which has not been very focused by the management system mentioned before. They are very English centric, so they don't focus on Viper. So I try to do that. So this is my one of my unique value proposition, and the and one and another one is that it is very unified. In a very one unified chat instead of differentiated messaging app. So this is my solution. So this is the UI preview of the demo that I made for the problem one and how it will look like. So basically, you can see on the left side there are tenants with different tenants, different user, different room numbers. So this monthly bill will be automatically sent and calculated after data input. So you can also message them to notify them, and you can also mark them as paid or unpaid so that you can clearly know who has paid their rent money. Okay, so let's go to problem number two. Documented data isn't streamlined. So what does it mean? It means that when when bills, meter sheets, and receipts arrives on paper, staff has to type that into the system to know the trends and see that on the dashboard, which is very not streamlined and not fast, and it can have so many errors. So the existing solution for problem two involves uh, involves upon these four. Let me explain it. Um, so before proposing my approach, Yadi and RealPage integrate with AP system to scan invoices and run approvals end to end. These and Entrata Procure to Pay uses AI. So these are powerful, but they are priced and designed for large property portfolios. So here's my solutions. Is that we tend to separate it into five steps. And the first is capture. You take a photo of the sheet, bill, or the invoice with the receipt, whatever you want to take. So you have to also make your own template so that the computer vision. Yes, we're using computer vision for this feature. Is very accurate, and you can also you will so the next step is extraction after taking the photo and setting a template. And after that, you also review whether these data are accurate or not, and you can decide to post it or not. So the value proposition is that it is very chat native. So basically, this there will be involvement of Myanmar language and Myanmar numbers, so that I have to make sure that I have to train on Myanmar language model. Also, there's no staff involvement, so there will be less error. So this is the use case for problem two. The first step is capturing, taking a photo, and then the second do is setting a template. So you can also clearly and systematically write down each category and the content. And after that, the next step is extraction. So uh, you can make sure that you can, if you want to enable Myanmar digits and tax conversion if needed. Another one is reviewing. So the confidence rates, you can see them and you can make sure if you like it or not. You can decide to post it or not. If you try to post it, you can auto post the ledger, which means updating the whole thing to the backend data, and you can export as one tab. So it would be exported as a CSV for convenience and auto notify in chat. This is the feature that the client wants, so automatically send them the receipt of or the rent or payment for the month. So you don't have to send it, it will be automation. So client satisfied problem number three. So limited financial visibility basically means owners are not sure if each month their expenses and revenues they are not very sure of, and if they make profit or loss for that month. And for that, we want to make sure we want to provide solution. The solution is to make sure that we in the dashboard session we provide the four important values: revenue, expense, net profit or loss, paid or unpaid. So there will also be charts for visual clarity as well. Revenue expenses, revenue versus expenses, expense breakdown, and payment status. And drill down, so you can basically click down to see more details of what kind of expenses are involved inside. So you can also see which are the large expenses for the month, and you can also export it to CSV for convenience. So this is the UI preview for the demo of the problem three, or how it would look like. You can see the total revenue, total expense, net profit or loss. You also see the ratio of paid or unpaid tenants to make sure who has paid or not for this month. You also see if you've made profit or loss for the month. You also see the top five expenses for the month. So this concludes the solutions for the problems presented by my client. However, I would like to provide other features, regardless of my client didn't specifically ask me to do that. So there are these are the other features. So rooms, you can make rooms and buildings. So also you can also mark them occupied or not, so that you can make sure you can see a clear vision of which rooms are occupied or not. Another one is staff. So you can systematically manage staffs with their salary, and you can assign tasks, so that it's very systematic. Another one is services. User might add services like electric and plumbing, so you can receive them and you can mark them if a service has been done or not, so that you don't have to mess it up. And for the tech stack, for the front end, we'll be using Flutter, since we have to do cross-platform, web and Android. For design, Material 3, for consistent UX. For backend, we'll be using Node.js. For OCO service and for computer vision part, we use Python first API, OpenCP, and Tesseract, since it does well with Myanmar language. For the database, we use Postgres SQL. For cache and queue, we use Reddit, and for object storage, we use the AWS Web Service. For message integration, since it is Viber focused, we use Viberbot API. Since it is automation, Bot API, Line Messenger API, and Facebook Messenger API. For authentication, we will use Firebase or alternative Superbase. Hosting, we will use AWS. And for the system architecture, the user signs in via Cordito and apps gets the JWT token. Flutter calls the Nest.js API with token. The API does the the CRUD in Postgres use pre-signed S3 URLs for uploads. For the implementation part, the OCR API sends a S3 path to Fast API. OCR returns a JSON plus a constant rate for the review part, and the API saves the results and shows a review if met a few reviews if needed. Background job reminders are in the Redis for short-time memory cache. And for the notification, the API sends BR Viber, Line, or Messenger API, whichever one the user uses. And this concludes my proposal presentation for the senior project 2. Thank you.